RJ Kyler, I play Billy Cranston, the Blue Ranger.
I'm Naomi Scott. I play Kimberly Hart.
The
Pink Ranger. You didn't, yeah.
I'm Dacre Montgomery. I play Jason, the Red Power Ranger.
I'm Becky G, and I play the Yellow Ranger, Trini.
I'm Ludi Lin, and I play Zach, the Black Ranger.
John Gatens, screenwriter, executive producer.
I'm Bill Hater. I play Alpha 5.
I'm Elizabeth Banks. I play Rita Repulsa.
Dean Israelite, the director.
Well, I guess I'm first. Well, me and we all trained in our respective living environments, I guess you can say. I trained at 8711 with, also Becky trained at 8711 too. And then it was just mostly physical training and then also stunt training, which consists of being able to respect distances and also knowing that your partner in this scene is your partner and both of you guys' safety is, you know, mostly important. So we can keep everybody safe and without bloody noses. And then we got to Vancouver post-production, and then we trained for choreography, and then our stunt team was really good. And so they made us safe and made us feel safe doing our stunts, even though harnesses are still one of the most uncomfortable things known to man.
That's very true.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I think what's interesting about the fact that we trained, I mean, you know, Becky and I, we trained before we actually got to Vancouver, but I think it was more to do with the stamina to actually get through the shoot. It's more for us and to be strong. I don't think it was necessarily purely an aesthetic thing. It wasn't like, oh, you need to be, at the end of the day, we are, you know, playing teenagers in school, and I think it's important that, I mean, not every teenager looks like Ludi Lin, but, you know,
That's because Ludi Lin's not a teenager.
One can only dream.
One ounce of that
Take off your shirt! Take off your shirt!
But, you know, we can only try. So I think that was really important that we, and, you know, Becky and I talked about, especially just for us as girls, like we wanted to be normal girls in high school.
We wanted to look real. Yeah.
Well, I wanted to look ripped as possible. No, it was a lot of fun. I didn't come from a sports or physically fit background, I guess, and spending 2.5 months in Perth training in the lead up to shooting was amazing, and I learned so much about my body and my flexibility and my diet, and yeah, I mean, the stamina to go through the shoot, but also to learn how to be safe on set, and the choreography and the stunts was so important.
Definitely. I think we should take a moment of silence as well for all the teenage girls that fainted every time they post a shirtless selfie. The boys, me and Nay actually, at one point we were going to print out pictures of the boys' six-packs and then take pictures of them and then post them. Yeah. It was interesting. I mean, I grew up in Inglewood, so the concept of fighting was very natural. Just kidding. Yeah. No, it's like RJ said, you know, this person is not your opponent, they're your partner, and so learning to fight for camera and stacking and safety zones, safety boxes, and, you know, announcing, okay, I'm getting on the wires now and I'm heading up. All that was very new, I think, for a lot of us, but yeah, it was so much fun, more than anything.
Yeah, for myself, I don't take training as training. It's not something that's hard for me to do. I take it as playing. So I can do it all the time. I can do it for, you know, half an hour. If I have it, I can do it for 6 hours if you give it to me. But I learned that sometimes I overplay and I overtrain. And I believe the first day on set when we did some camera tests, they had a problem with my man arms because I obviously overplayed those too much.
Yeah.
But then I learned through training on this show that
I have that problem all the time.
When I think about man arms, I think about Bill Hader.
That constantly comes up in everything I do.
Totally.
God
Give
damn, he
him
has
6
too many
hours, he's
amazing
training
man
all
arms.
6 hours.
God damn it, you could do it for 6 hours and 30 minutes.
6 hours.
I mean, I don't know that we were ever... We try to come from it from a place of, listen, I grew up with the show. So it's my childhood too. And that made me feel like I had a true north all the time in terms of what I would call myself a lapsed fan, someone that grew up on it and kind of grew away from it. what I would want to see in a reboot of it. So I just use that kind of as true north. And I've gotten this question a lot about were we nervous when we started to approach it? And honestly, I don't think we let that factor in. I think we were excited to be bold in how we were going to reimagine and reinvent it. And I felt like if we kept the spirit of what that original show was in terms of the feeling, in terms of kind of the warmth and the joy and the heart that I think epitomizes the original show, if we were true to that, then I thought we would have a lot of latitude. So we were just excited about the reimagining and hope that if we did all of that properly and stay true, that the die-hard fans are still going to appreciate it.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing I'll add to that is just to say I think that we wanted to honor both the original series, but also try to put it in a world that we thought a young audience could kind of recognize themselves in as well. So.
Yeah.
Do you want to take it?
I just wanted to say a big thank you to Dean in the studio, because I think there was a huge incentive from the creatives to add our own touch. I'm a newcomer, so, what do I know? But I think that's pretty fortunate. We're pretty lucky to have had that opportunity to put our own little spice into the roles and bring our own, as opposed to it being... Thanks, Dean.
It was my pleasure.
To add to that, me and Nate talk about it a lot, that we kind of made the conscious decision not to revisit those things just because I wanted to take that impression that it first made on me and how it's inspired me and stuck with me and then build off of that. And I think what intrigued me the most when I first had the first conversation about the script and my character with Dean was that although these names may sound familiar, you are meeting our characters for the first time. And it's taking place now in 2017 with really relevant and current issues to now, which I think, like John said, a lot of kids can identify themselves with and somehow relate to one of our characters in some kind of way.
Yeah, and also, lastly, I think that for me, I wanted to kind of start afresh, and I think that sometimes, you can, I don't know, I think that, that's basically it. Sorry. My mind just went blank. I'm not gonna lie.
No, but
I'm not gonna lie to you people.
I grew up with this original Power Rangers
happen
series.
Twice a day.
And when I read the script, it struck me as an origin story of these kids. We get deeper into their background. So for the TV series, I found that people had a lot of time to grow to love these characters through each episode, when in the script, you really have to dig deep to make them fall in love and relate to the characters within this movie. What I did, I didn't go back to the original American series, but I did go back to watch a few episodes of the original Super Sentai series from the Japanese TV show, and it kind of inspired me to think about how different things could be, because in that show, everything was different. The Yellow Ranger was a man, right? So it gave me a lot of motivation to actually put my own creativity into these characters rather than, follow some convention or memory.
Hi. As a non-fan, I really, really enjoyed it. I thought it was so much fun. And thank you for developing the characters and not just making it about an action movie. So Elizabeth, your Rita is pretty scary. I was surprised how scary she's pretty frightening. When the first images came out, though, there was a lot of criticism about your character, but I think you pulled it off.
Oh, great. Yeah, I didn't read any of that criticism, so I was totally...
What was it? Tell us. What was it?
Yeah,
What did they say? Go into detail.
Oh, my God.
No.
Was it like she's
Tell us
ugly and
everything.
old?
I'd also like to add that this is
Was she too pretty? She was too pretty, right?
this is like the sexiest we've ever seen Rita Repulsa, I'd like to say. Honestly, I personally think, and I think that's dope. I think the aesthetic, everything just goes together so well. So I thought it was sick.
Yeah, it's like, Rita Repulsa.
Low key, can I get your number?
So we're frightened of her?
I'm so scared.
Well, this script is pretty different. We conceived of the character, I think, in a really modern way. She was so campy in the past. I loved the Rita Repulsa in Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, etc. Because she's so larger than life, and she's sort of insane, and she's got this crazy laugh. And I wanted to preserve some of that energy in the character, but also we deal with what was on the page in front of me. And I also thought it was really important that these guys felt like they were up against real stakes. that she really was threatening and didn't give a flying crap about them or humanity, Earth, cars, their parents. Like, none of this makes any sense to her. She's an alien. She's 65 million years old.
She also, I gotta give Elizabeth huge props. She learned that language, which she fully could speak. Was it
Altarian.
Altarian.
Bill.
I had to do it phonetically, and I could not do it. And then the whole time, Dean was like, Elizabeth, she learned this. I was like, come on, man. And then I watch a scene of her, and I'm like, gosh, she did it, and she's really good. It's like her first language. It's like you're from, man, no, but yeah, that was amazing. That was really, that's super hard.
Yeah, I Skyped with a woman who created our language.
Correct.
Whose entire job was to come up with a fake language.
Bill didn't Skype with her.
Bill didn't Skype with her.
No.
Wow.
Yeah.
She's
I just said, gosh, if I don't get this right, someone from that planet might be in the audience and be angry.
I'll be honest, I only did it because I was told, and this might not be true, that Bryan Cranston learned the language.
Well, Brian and I were both.
Not here.
Brian, no. Brian and I were doing it phonetically, and it did not sound the way you did it. So that was really awesome. I don't know how you did that.
Do you want to go first, RJ, or me?
Well, I guess so. No, it was exciting to be able to play a character that was on the spectrum, mostly because it challenged me to learn about something that I had no idea about, right? So it was like starting school over again, kind of. And it also, it kind of rekindled a friendship from my high school years, right? So I called my friend Andre to get like an insight, because Andre's on the spectrum, but he's one of the most brilliant minds that I've ever came in contact with, right? So it was like really cool to be able to step into that world and do that role justice, right? Because it's like, it's something that a lot of people don't understand, but we're all affected by it some way, And so it's like, that's cool, just to like be able to show how the world reacts to people that are on the spectrum, and also how people that are on the spectrum react to the world, yeah.
I personally, as a new actress, I want to be very aware of what messages I'm taking on and what character this message is carrying. And I feel like this movie is so diverse in so many ways. I mean, first off, the colors of our skins and where we come from is very different, and that isn't even mentioned in the movie because it doesn't matter, and we're all equal, and I think that's amazing. And not only that, we're diverse as far as genders go. You have two, female leads in the Power Rangers who are working with 3 male leads, and we say together we are more. Without one, we're not the same. And I think that's awesome as well, being obviously all about that girl power. I think it's awesome to know that there's going to be young women watching this and say, hey, she looks like me, or I could do that too. And then as far as Trini and her identity issues, as far as her figuring out who she is, I think that's something very relevant and very current to our generation. I mean, we deal with self-identity issues, cyberbullying. Billy being on the spectrum actually has a special place in my heart. My little brother Alex was diagnosed with autism at a very young age. And to know that he's going to watch this movie and he's going to be like, that's me, and he can identify himself in that character is like, I think all we can ask for as people to share a positive message like that. And I think we need that right now more than ever, for sure. So it's truly an honor to be a part of all of this.